Hello guys, this is just welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be explaining why Doctor Who is actually my favourite show. It's something that I've never really done before. For once I would actually explain what Doctor Who means to me, I suppose, and what really made me get into the show to such a degree that it is basically my life. You know, I know every single episode of Doctor Who, the titles of the new Who episodes, I know every single one, and I can basically tell you from, you know, Series 1, Episode 1, what episode that is, all the way to Series 11, and it's actually quite sad. Shame that I can't remember anything useful. But also, I bought this the other day. It's The Legacy of Time. It's the new Big Finish audio, and I've been working my way through it basically all week. It is amazing. It's the only bit of Doctor Who I'm going to probably get this year, so it is my pride and joy right now. Precious. For me, it all started in 2005 when I first watched Doctor Who. I believe it was Rose, and I can't remember much of Series 1 because I was 3, but my family were watching it, and therefore it kind of carried on from there. So I would watch it, and from my family I took a bit of an interest in it, more than I would do for the everything else. I would take more of an interest in Doctor Who and watching Doctor Who than I would do anything else. I was quite young though, so there wasn't a lot of episodes that I simply didn't watch. In fact, this carried on for quite a few years. There's a few episodes that I just never watched for a while. In Series 1, Doctor Dances, what was the two-part called? You know, I know every single episode of Doctor Who. You know, episodes such as the Doctor Dances, The Empty Child, but it's the other way around. Those were episodes that I simply didn't watch because they are terrifying. In fact, they are still quite terrifying to this day. You can't really watch it in the dead of night. Then in 2006, I watched Series 2, and Series 2 I would always consider to be my favourite series, but just don't hit me, because I understand that it does have some faults, but it is still my favourite series. Nevertheless, I know Rose is annoying, and multiple other problems that come with this series, like the Doctor romance thing. Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel is my favourite episode, hands down. There is nothing better than that episode to me. The fact that the characters are in such dangerous situations, in danger all the time, they are literally dealing with a whole invasion of Cybermen, these big, basically indestructible suits of armour, and they are turning people into these things, and they are doing it to the whole population of the UK. Is it the world? Doomsday is at the end of this series, and for me, I've cried at that episode so many times that I can't even remember. I've seen it multiple times now. I remember crying about it when it first came out. In fact, I was talking to Will, and I remember Will crying about it. In primary school, we were very, very young, and I remember it being this huge thing to talk about, and it was this Series 2 is probably the first time I actually remember watching Doctor Who. Series 1 I don't really remember, but in Series 2, you know, I felt like I enjoyed it a lot more, and I definitely became a proper Whovian. You know, the only reason that Will became my friend was because the back of his head looked a bit like a Cyberman. Therefore, I believed he was a Cyberman, and if he was to turn around and kill me, because he's a Cyberman in disguise, he wouldn't kill me because I was friends with him. And this continued also into Series 3, the same kind of stuff, playing Doctor Who in the playground, which is weird, and then sort of being kind of odd because I liked Doctor Who and I didn't like football or anything like that, and it was quite weird that I liked sci-fi instead of liking people kicking a ball around, because I don't find that interesting whatsoever, and I think I was kind of like the odd one out with a few others. David Tennant was definitely my favourite Doctor. I think he probably still is, and I feel like as the series went on, he got to Series 4 and he only got better. Series 2 was decent, Series 3 got better, and Series 4 was great. I think Series 4 is definitely the pinnacle, and maybe for my favourite season. Please don't hit me again. But Doctor Who went on a bit of a hiatus for the year, in between, you know, before David Tennant regenerated, and during this time I was kind of just watching Doctor Who the same way that I normally would watch the old DVDs back, things like that, just anything. I used to buy the magazines, the Doctor Who Adventures magazines. I used to buy them every week. I have them in my bed, I don't know where they are, but they're in my bed somewhere, and there's just hundreds of them. And I used to buy them every week for every little pencil and strange thing I occasionally find in my bedroom. I remember when I used to get them every week. So it's like Waters of Mars terrified me, and then I remember going back to school the next day after a sleepless night of being scared and trying to go to sleep before going back to school. I believe it was during like a half term, so I had to go to school the next day, and for some reason it aired on a Sunday. And then I went to school the next day just terrified that the water was out to kill me. And obviously the regeneration was like the biggest event in my life when I was a child, and it felt like I actually lost something when he regenerated, because he became such a big part of me growing up from, you know, 4 to 8. That it became such a big part of my life that I just sort of cried quite a lot when he died, when he regenerated. And even though I can admit now that the episode itself is not the best thing that ever came out of Doctor Who, as a child I definitely thought it was. And obviously Matt Smith took over. I was quite sceptical because David Tennant was like the man, and then Matt Smith kind of put me at ease in his first episode. In fact, series 5, 6 and 7, I was quite old. I understood how television worked a bit more, how the internet worked as well, so I've watched videos on the internet like talking about Doctor Who and stuff, not as much as I do now, but in the past, but I never made any. And I would, you know, just sort of follow Doctor Who. I wouldn't say I wasn't as hyped and as excited as I was as a child, but it was still my favourite show. You know, series 5 has some of the best episodes, and then series 6 does, 7, and then that was a bit of a blur because I remember watching them. I don't remember much about them, which is odd. I don't know why. It's just a bit of a blank. Series 8 came along, and Series 8 was a series that I believe is not actually that good compared to most series of Doctor Who, and I was a little bit disappointed with it. I quite like Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, but I never really felt like he was at his best in terms of the writing. And again, I was still watching Doctor Who videos on the internet, but I wasn't actually doing anything about them. Like, I wasn't sort of participating in it myself and making my own until series 9 came along, when I started actually reviewing these episodes. Each week I would review them with terrible camera work, terrible lighting. My light used to be orange, so you know, it used to be on a phone, I think. So I think that you'd lose. You know, you'd have those 2 frames of black on the side. The aspect ratio was up. They're just terrible videos. I don't even know what my hair was back then, to be honest. My room, I think there was a Minecraft sword above my door, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed reviewing this episode so much that I decided to do the same for series 10. Slightly better quality this time, but still had a bit of a problem with cutting off the top of my head, which was kind of weird, and something that I later fixed when I started reviewing series 11. But in the end, I have a lot to thank Doctor Who for. You know, some of my best moments in watching television have come from Doctor Who, and a lot of my hobbies also have came from Doctor Who as well. So, you know, I have a lot of stuff to thank it for. But that is the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry if it went on a bit. I really wanted to keep it short, but I struggled to. I had a lot to talk about. I want to switch these 2 frames over. So there's this Doctor Who one here. That one in there, that's fake. So I want to switch that with the real one that's above my mirror. So I want to switch them round. So I hope that will change in a few days. And also, I really want to get a massive Thanos pop vine figure. I don't know. I might pop vinyl figure. So don't forget to subscribe. Make sure that you leave a like, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.